early game, I think. You have two heroes who are really, really good at just like fighting in the early game. Shaman gets 6, Abaddon, although they do both need level 6 to fight optimally, and that could prove challenging, especially if they try to run a tri-lane. Although aggro dual lanes are still very, very popular, and I would imagine we'll see that coming out just so these two heroes can find fast level 6.
10 seconds remaining.
STFU pick up a Phoenix really early, and the Shaman wards don't work on it, but Abaddon's Curse of Avernus does, and that could be really dangerous. The Beastmaster banned out. This hero is very, very strong right now. If you max boars, the double boar slow is absolutely just it's impossible to get away, and a squishy support like Shadow Shaman or a melee hero like Abaddon, that could be very frustrating to deal with. So this Phoenix I think might be okay, but the Abaddon could be, if he's able to get close, that is, it's entirely possible that he just blows up before he's able to get there, so we'll see. I think the Phoenix is an okay pick. I think this will probably be their offlaner. It could also be a support, and Viper taken out of the pool, another early game focused hero, takes the fight to you really, really quickly, gets a mechanism in SNY, and just runs down your lane and beats you up, so something to look out for. And there's Tiny taken out of the pool. This hero, very, 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 very good at late game, and even early game. If he gets a blink dagger and some levels, he could just one-shot your supports with his combo. Gyrocopter taken out of the pool, ignored in the first phase, and I think it's a safe ban here. STFU already have pretty good fighting early, with if the Phoenix gets some levels, and just Tusk is an amazing fighting hero early. So I think the Gyro's a good ban. Call down plus flat cannon. I'm not sure if flat cannon works on Shaman wards, but if it does, definitely something to look out for, because you could just one-shot just kill all your wards in a few seconds. But I'm not sure how the interaction goes, and good thing he's banned. And since he's banned out, we're not going to find out in this game. I think Darkseer is okay here. I think it would have been... I think for offlaners, I guess I would have leaned more towards something like a Slardar for them. I think it goes pretty well with the Shadow Shaman. It's a hero that can really take you to can really secure your late game, can get you there pretty easily. But Darkseer's a pretty decent pick here. They just don't really have any good synergy with the vac wall yet. Although I guess you could get a good vac wall into a huge, say, Shaman wards, trap 1 or 2 people inside the wards. So, and Darkseer's just a strong hero. He lanes really well, probably won't have any problems up against the Phoenix or the Tusk, and retreat to the jungle if he really has to with Ion Shell, and just a hero you're not too worried about finding farm on, because he will pretty much always find his farm. And here's Lion, and they're definitely looking to be aggressive early. Lion and Tusk is a super dangerous and super scary duo in the early game, and they're definitely going to be... This Shadow Shaman's going to have to be careful, because if he gets... And this Abaddon too, for that matter. If he gets caught in the shards, he's pretty much dead. I actually... Okay, this justifies the Darkseer pick a little bit more, because a surged up Ursa is very, very, very hard to deal with, and this hero is very good against Phoenix, so the early Phoenix pick might come back to bite him in the ass, and just might get punished, because at the start of the game, since I believe it's the next 4 hits... Yeah, at the start of the game, he can just turn on Overpower and instantly kill your Phoenix egg. So this Phoenix is going to have to play very, very carefully. He can just get, since they can surge up this Ursa and get him right on top of the egg. STFU probably looking for their mid. I think Shadow Fiend would be okay here. They don't have a lot of... Alright, so they go with the Spectre, and I actually think Spectre's decent here. You have some supports that can really protect her, especially if they run a tri-lane with Lion Tusk. They could even get kills with the Spectre, and Spectre's not really famous for her laning phase, but definitely a good hero once you get into the mid-game. So, I think both drafts are... They both have... I think STFU has a better idea of what they want to do right now. I can't really think of a pick that would really tie things together for Reborn Dominion. They're still looking for their mid, and both teams looking for their mid, so there's the Zeus ban, which that's a fair ban. Another good early game hero and very, very bursty. And scouting the Roshan with his ult could be devastating, because if this Ursa gets caught at Roshan, which is really the huge advantage Ursa gives you, is taking these early Roshans so fast that they can't contest. But if they catch this Ursa at Rosh, it could really take away that whole aspect of their lineup. And it's actually pretty interesting to see an Ursa on the Radiant side. So STFU might be able to predict when the Ursa is trying to Roshan a little bit. So mid hero still in the pool. You've got Shadow Fiend. There's Queen of Pain still available for both teams. I think it'd be a decent pick for Reborn Dominion. Actually, I actually like the Shadow. I don't know if I like it anymore. But the reason I like the Shadow Fiend is just because there's not any supports on.
10 seconds remaining.
Like, Reborn Dominion can't pressure it, so Reborn Dominion are going to need to pick a really strong laning mid. Outward Devourer is still available, and that hero is making a pretty good comeback. He would be pretty strong, I think, up against this Spectre with the pure damage, and he'd probably have to get a BKB, though, and would be pressured pretty hard by the Lion and the Tusk, I imagine. But I think the OG could fit in their lineup with a Vac Wall into a Sanity's Eclipse. Death Prophet also still available, and that could be just what they're looking for. And there's the Shadow Fiend, and I think this is okay, but Abaddon and Shadow Shaman are going to have to be ready to go defend their Shadow Fiend, because Tusk and Lion will make some pretty scary rotations. And now here's Skywrath Mage, who you don't usually see this hero in the core position, but definitely possible. And I think he lanes up alright against the Shadow Fiend. And in this situation, I think my biggest problem is the pressure he's under. But I think against this Reborn Dominion draft, he's not really under that much pressure. So this could be a pretty good, pretty safe pick for STFU. So I'm thinking, I don't think this Ursa will be jungling. He's almost definitely going to be their safe lane. The Lion, I would actually like to see an aggro try from STFU, or even like just put their Spectre in the safe lane and just plant the Lion and Tusk there, then rotate back and forth between mid lane and their bot lane. Their off laner should be okay. Darkseer shouldn't die, and let's see if. Alright, so I think of the draft, I slightly favor STFU. Although the Skywrath Mage mid pick is a little obscure, I think it lanes up decently against the Shadow Fiend, and there's not too much for them to worry about. But let's quickly go over introductions. You've got Konami on Skywrath Mage, McKnight on Tusk, Lavexis playing Phoenix, Beatrix playing Lion, and McNuggets, their captain, playing Spectre. Cocoa Puffs is playing Ursa, Olive Garden on Abaddon, Legion playing Shadow Fiend, RGB on the Shadow Shaman, and Slayer playing Darkseer. And STFU looking to get aggressive from the get-go, and they definitely have the lineup to do it. They've got a smoke on the Lion, and they could definitely be looking to find a kill at this rune. Lion started Earthspike, and Tusk started Snowball. No one's up, with RGB actually positioned pretty well to pop that smoke, and might be able to reveal that this gank is coming. Uh-oh, if he's not able to see, and now it's too late. Here comes the team, and this could definitely be First Blood, and this is definitely going to be First Blood. Or is it? Will they be able to find him? A swoop comes in, and they manage to grab it, but McNuggets might pay with his life. And this Ursa just chunking away at people's health at the start of this game, but then he goes down, and that could be pretty costly for him. But the shield might pop, and uh-oh, he's got to be careful not to pop that shield. He could die, and Shadow Shaman going down on the other side. The smoke gank looks like it's barely worth it for... No, sorry, not barely worth it. Very, very worth it for STFU. They only lost their Ursa, and now this rune... Actually, who took the rune? Oh, okay, so I can't see who took the bottom rune, but someone took the bottom rune. So let me just take a quick look at the gold grab. A 1k advantage in favor of STFU after that, and I'm sorry I was a little all over the place in that fight, but definitely very, very favorable for STFU, especially considering 2 of those kills went on their Skywrath Mage. This mid lane is going to be a nightmare for Shadow Fiend, who's a full half a level behind. And let's just take a quick look at their lanes. Looks like Reborn Dominion are doing a tri-lane bottom. This is probably pretty smart. They want to protect the Ursa, and they could pressure they can pressure out the Phoenix. This hero is very reliant on levels, so by denying him these levels, they can definitely really hurt STFU's early game fighting potential. So is the Spectre solo laning? But actually Lion looks like he's walking back, so we'll see what happens with that. And Darkseer, though, off to a good start despite the terrible fight for his team in the beginning of the game. And a lot of the times at this level of play, winning the off lane is a pretty good... It can win the whole game for your team as long as they go even elsewhere, because a lot of these players will lose their off lane just because they can't pressure, or... And Phoenix is actually a very good hero to pressure with, especially against this... But you do have to be careful against the Shadow Shaman. The shackles last for a very long time, and once Ursa hits level 2, it could be devastating. But Phoenix almost hitting level 2, so probably pretty happy. Alright, let's see how these lanes shape up. And Skywrath Mage already has a bottle on his way. And they are zoning out the Phoenix, so this could be a pretty rough lane for him. Although if this Shadow Shaman and Abaddon stay in the lane with this Ursa, it could easily start to slowly favor the Phoenix. If he gets levels on them, he could kill a couple of these heroes with some points in Fire Spirits. And I would really like to see this Abaddon in the jungle, making stacks. He can't really gank, so... Alright, he has a TP on him. But I think they're going to have a hard time in this off lane pressuring out the Phoenix, and it looks like another tri-lane is going to be up at the top lane. Tusk is pretty low health, but shouldn't be in any real danger quite yet, and does actually get salved up by the Lion, so I don't know if that was a mistake. I don't think Tusk is in any danger if he just goes to pressure the Darkseer instead of trying to sit around the creep wave. And Lion's trying to trade hits with this Darkseer, but he's got to be careful because that Ion Shell is just slowly taking away his health, and if he's not careful, that could... Okay, so he backs off, but that was not a worthy trade for this Lion, who is suddenly without a salve and might even die to this creep if he's not careful. Yeah, Lion's probably going to have to walk back to base because this Darkseer could almost just surge up and kill him if he's not careful. And it looks like Tusk trying to double stack and pulling it off. So good play from McKnight. I actually am pretty impressed with that, but let's see how let's see how this mid lane matchup is turning out, and I need to put on these stats. Check out last hits. Alright, so Ursa's farming up pretty well, but levels wise I think this is still kind of a mistake. They need to... This Phoenix is level 4, and that's... It's going to start getting really dangerous, and there's 4 heroes up here top. It looks like they really wanted this Darkseer, but he's able to just surge away since Skywrath Mage has no point in concussive shot, and this is what Shadow Fiend needs. Shadow Fiend just needed some free time to catch up and breathe in his lane. So I think this was a pretty big mistake of a rotation from STFU. I believe Skywrath should have just stayed in his lane. They should have just... Because I think he really needed to press his advantage up against the Shadow Fiend. I would actually really like to see Lion and Tusk smoke up, and I apologize, I actually just missed the Phoenix get taken down, and I'm imagining that was because of a Hex Shackle, and that's definitely going to do the trick with Ursa right there on top of you. I apologize for missing that, but yeah, just again a mistake from the Skywrath. He should have pressured the Shadow Fiend, and I think the Shaman and Abaddon really need to rotate and kill the Shadow Fiend, or at least force rotations so that this Phoenix can try to get his level 6, since now Ursa is caught up in levels thanks to that kill. Darkseer seems like he's trying to interrupt the pull, or just trying to get some experience. Abaddon now sitting in mid. I don't really think there's a lot they can accomplish, and Tusk is TPing in mid. I don't know if this was seen or not. Abaddon's right there, so this could be a very hard kill to get. Yeah, definitely would be a hard kill to get, but he only has rank 1 shield, so it absorbs 110 damage though, which is pretty significant amount of damage at this level. Absorbing that 1 Mystic Shot could prevent a death easily. But right now, on the top of the last hits, we've got 3 heroes from Reborn Dominion, so they're probably really happy with this start they've got. despite that terrible start, despite that terrible bounty rune fight that happened bot lane. McKnight looks like he really wants to get aggressive on this guy, and Phoenix at level does not have fire spirits, so they could be hard pressed to do it, but he's level 5, and with level 3 fire spirits, that's a lot of damage. But they miss the shards, and but here they go with the snowball. They're gonna connect. Oh, but he misses his fire spirits. He catches on one, but without shards to block him in, there's no way. That's really unfortunate. Although I'm really glad to see this Tusk rotating. It is, I think, if he should have waited to shards till after the snowball, try to trap the Ursa in with them, and Abaddon comes bot in the end, and they're trying to look to get a kill, but with no real way to start a fight, no long range initiation on the side of Reborn Dominion, and so they're just kind of gonna glance at each other and back away. Skywrath Mage has boots on the courier. I think he really needs a potent concussive shot if he wants to make kills happen. I really think with that, I think this is a big mistake, because one of the strengths of Skywrath Mage is how absolutely frustrating he is to lane up against, and how dangerous it is to go up against, how good of a ganker he is. Like, with a good rune, with Conk Shot, he could easily get a kill, but I suppose if he gets an Invis, he might make something happen, but Darkseer looks like he's in a little trouble, but thanks to Surge, he's just going to walk it off. And I just caught the Tusk die, but this Ursa has to be careful. He might die as well, and actually I think he's going to burn out. And now Shadow Shaman trying to get revenge, but that kill, and oh, kills happening all over the map, a dive happening mid, and a lucky haste rune definitely securing that kill. So I apologize, it got lost all over the map there, but I think across the map, yeah, Reborn Dominion are happy with that, and they're going to try to take advantage of this haste rune, but will they be able to get the Phoenix before he swoops? And the answer is yes. That damage from the Shadow Fiend raises is just massive, and no way the Phoenix survives. Not to mention Shackles actually does pretty significant damage now over the course of its duration. It's like Ursa's down here. Shadow Fiend is probably going to walk back to mid lane. Things are starting to look really good for Reborn Dominion. This Darkseer's off to a good start. He's going to be going mech first. Probably the right choice if they want, because they could actually go for an early game focused lineup with what they have. Abaddon and Shaman are good. Ursa's very good early once he gets a Blink Dagger. And not really sure what Ursa's going for. I actually think that we're going to see this turn into a Vlad's. Phoenix going for a mech as well, I think. I'm not sure if I like that, but it's actually not bad. He could go for Guardian Greaves and pull it off pretty well. They gotta be careful, but they do have Supernova ready. Let's see. Spectre probably going for a Vanguard, and I actually think if you can get that item early, it's very strong and pretty much nullifies the effectiveness of the Shaman wards, but Ursa's still gonna chunk you away if you try to fight him. The farm in mid definitely favoring this Shadow Fiend, who's 18, 16, 17 last hits ahead of this Skywrath Mage, and his advantage has all but vanished with Shadow Fiend even a full level ahead of him now. Oh, looks like Phoenix is going to go down here, and there's really not much he can do about that. But at the same time, Tusk might be going down too, and oh, but he's barely able. Okay, so he's just able to walk away, and Skywrath Mage trying to find him. He's only level 5, so he doesn't have his... Yeah, he's probably going down here, but Darkseer's ready, puts up the defensive wall, and there's still... Oh, Abaddon denies himself. Very good play. They snowball through the wall, but this Ion Shell could just kill them all. Oh, but the illusions, this could be the end of this... Oh, man, this has gone terribly, but are they just able to survive? Yes, they are. Really good wall, but Shadow Fiend's here now, and he's going to be able to find this... Oh, the Skywrath Mage just immediately gets blown up, and does Shadow Fiend have 2 magic wands? But that's fine, and that fight going probably in favor of Reborn Dominion again. Yes, very in favor. They lost a lot of their heroes, and more importantly, they lost their Spectre, which they can't afford to do. She's one of those heroes where you're trying to die as little as possible, and that death there is going to be very, very costly for her. And Darkseer, very happy with how that turned out, has a huge chunk of gold coming his way. Nuggets gonna have a pretty rough time now. This Darkseer is level 7, maxed out Ion Shell. It was a very good wall from him, and a fantastic play from the Abaddon, who denied himself, but oh, the Shadow Shaman just not quick enough on the draw to lock the Phoenix down mid-swoop. That would have been a pretty easy and pretty welcome kill for the Shadow Shaman if he had been able to shackle. Alright, so she actually goes for a Perseverance, which I find to be pretty interesting, and I'm a little curious to see what she's going to build out of it. It's like a couple heroes moving on mid. Shadow Shaman's just dropping a friendly ward, and Phoenix sitting in mid now. He has max Fire Spirits, and I think this is definitely the best Phoenix build, but Darkseer in trouble. Ice Shard's ready, and the Hex and Phoenix even rotates up here. They brought the whole team, and that's a really big kill for them. A lot of gold heading the way of Phoenix, who really wants to get a lead, especially in levels, and sitting at level 8 at 10 minutes, he's probably very happy with how this is going for him. Skywrath Mage looks like he's going a Rod of Atos, and I actually think it's a pretty good item up against a lot of these heroes. The Shadow Fiend and the Ursa especially will struggle against that item, but the Abaddon Shield will probably be able to purge it off, so still a good pickup. He could use the Beef too. There's a lot of bursty heroes on the side of Reborn Dominion, just in the form of the Ursa and the Shadow Fiend. It's like Phoenix is actually going to try to get a kill here, and he just might do it. Good play, but did he get another thing? He might be able to swoop in and get the kill, but Spectre's coming in to try to finally finish him off. But, or is it going to be up to the Phoenix, who just lands the Fire Spirit, but the Bottle Charges might save him, but there's just too much damage coming out from the max rank Fire Spirits, and really good play from Phoenix, and I apologize, I missed out on 2 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills at bot lane, and Reborn Dominion just getting blown up across the map, and looks like ST barely making it out across all of these fights. Definitely a fight that they needed. A 2.5k gold swing in their favor, and things are starting to look slightly better for them, but if they keep this up, they will definitely win, but I really hope this Spectre isn't going a Battle Fury. I don't think she wants that item this game, but Shaman looks like he wants to get a kill on this Spectre. No wards, but will they be able to get him? I don't think this is going to happen. No way to jump, and that's a huge flaw in the Reborn Dominion lineup, is they don't really have any jump yet. They need the blink on the Ursa, or a blink on the Shadow Fiend, or a blink on the Darkseer even, but otherwise they don't really have very good ways to kill these heroes on the side of ST and Ursa trying to sneak his first Roshan of the game. This could definitely further the advantage of Reborn Dominion. Skywrath Mage looks like he's in trouble, and this is where a point and concussive shot could be, but the Darkseer might have just misplayed and just get blown up instead. Good play from the Skywrath Mage. Well positioned Mystic Flare, and Darkseer may be surging a little too early. Probably just getting overconfident after those kills he got, and yeah, easy Roche for Reborn Dominion. It's a good 1,000 gold for them. The advantage is still very, very small at this stage of the game, though. Shaman wards are ready, so they might be trying to pressure this bot lane, but a couple of ST's heroes are here ready to retaliate. Phoenix has a mechanism and his ult ready, but I don't think they want to fight into these wards, so it looks like they're just going to throw out some harass and forfeit this tower.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to let this go. It's a little dangerous for them, or are they? Tusk is snowballed, so I think they're just going to have to let this Tusk die, but weird how that worked. But Phoenix didn't cancel the swoop, and now Spectre's all on her own, and this could be bad. Shaman's Hex is cooling down in just a few seconds, but he's backing off, and mech pop from the Phoenix. Looks like Illusions are fighting somewhere in mid. They might be able to claim the Aegis here. That attack speed, though, is pretty significant, but the Hex going out on the Spectre from the Shaman, and he gets Hexed in return by the Lion. Healed up from the Abaddon, but it's not going to be enough, and they get two kills across the map with the I actually imagine that Shadow Fiend died while I was looking at bot, so I apologize for missing that kill too. Skywrath Mage very, very close to his Rod of Atos. I believe only a couple hundred gold. That's going to be a pretty good item. This Ursa's going to have a very hard time since he does have Blink Dagger, but he's going to be very prone to being kited after that comes out. Phoenix going top, trying to find some farm. Shadow Fiend also really looking to find some farm. He's had a kind of rough game, but does have very good farm, so he's died a few times, but this looks like this. Alright, the Skywrath Mage there and the Spectre there, it looks like they're going to be able to protect their Phoenix Egg. It's still a rank 1 spell. Trying to Requiem, but it's too late. He's just going to slowly burn to death, and another death on the Shadow Fiend. Met comes out, but this Ursa might be able to find himself a return kill. Yes, 1, maybe they'll find 2. McNuggets is very far out of position, and now he's shackled and there's nowhere to go. Decent shards block, but you may have given away your position. And Ursa looks like he's going to farm up this stack. No, they're just going to pressure the tower, but that stack could be farmed from either team, and that's probably a pretty beneficial amount of gold. And I'm actually going to take a quick look and see if there's any other stacks across the map from either team. Doesn't look like it. Looks like the 1 stack on the map, and it's slightly taken out. The free tower for Reborn Dominion, and the gold graph just slowly swinging in their favor. And they need this kind of momentum with a hero like Ursa, who, if he's ahead of you, is going to crush you. And ST just really can't afford to be losing heroes like this. But looks like they might find a kill on the Shadow Fiend, but they'd have to dive really deep forward, and they definitely want to get out of there because the Darkseer is TPing in, but it's a very slow TP. Abaddon goes in, his ult is popped, and ST just forced to retreat, but his ult has ended and his team's not there to help him. But Ursa jumps in the backline, instantly killing the Skywrath Mage. The finger pops during the enrage and doing literally no damage. Shaman Wards dropped right under the tower, but they might just get farmed up. This fight's a little all over the place, and with the laser, are they going to be able to take off the Aegis? No, he barely survives, and might look to jump in again. But I don't know if he wants to... Oh, the Spectral Dagger is going to not pop the Aegis, actually. Looks like he only has the 1 point in it. How unfortunate. But I don't actually know how much longer that Aegis is here for. Probably another minute or so. So it looks like that fight just... A slight disengage, and... Oh, I missed the fight recap, but... Another fight slightly in favor of, and actually the Ursa gets hexed, and... Might lose the Aegis now. Yes, he will finally lose his Aegis, but I think he's okay with that. He wants to continue pushing. And Skywrath Mage's death earlier preventing him from getting his Rod of Atos in a timely fashion. Still not poorly timed, but he could have used it about a minute ago. Haste Rune on the Darkseer. He's going to just run up top, it looks like. McNuggets returning to farming the jungle, and still not sure what this Perseverance was for. I think an early Vanguard would have been a lot better. Helped him take fights and find easy farm across the map, since it would have been a lot harder to blow him up. Shadow Fiend still has no items, really, and looks like he's trying for a Shadow Blade. He's fairly close, but still very behind item-wise. Let's check out the net worth graph. He has no items just yet, and a Snowball on 2, but a Shackle on their Skywrath, and this Husker's in trouble, but a fantastic Earth Spike, and this really well-positioned Phoenix Egg is just going to slowly melt away at the heroes of Reborn Dominion, and Abaddon's trying to give chase, but with no ult, this could be dangerous. Looks like they're at least going to find the Shadow Shaman on the backline, but Spectre's here to clean up, and this could be a real disaster, but Shadow Shaman actually getting a kill on the Tusk from the Death Requiem, and Abaddon looks like he's going to be able to just slowly find himself away, and Shadow Fiend picking up his Shadow Blade, and now we might be able to see them become a little more aggressive on the map, and that fight definitely favoring ST, who didn't lose any of their core, who didn't lose their Spectre. They did lose their Skywrath Mage, who is their mid, but he does have his Rod of Atos finished. Tusk looks like he's going phase boots, and I think I'd rather see like an urn on him. This is a really greedy build, and with the way fights are going, he's not getting that much gold. He's second from the bottom in net worth. Ursa going down, and that's pretty significant, and probably worth a lot of gold. Yeah, I unfortunately am not able to see that, but I think that was a pretty good fight for ST, and if they keep taking fights like that where their Spectre doesn't die, they don't even have to win by that much. Because the Spectre will eventually just get to this critical mass. Like, she's finished her Diffusal Blade, and that's going to make her illusions hit really hard, and she missed the pull here, but that's fine. But Spectre will hit this critical mass where this Ursa's going to be really strong, but she's going to kill everyone else on the side of Reborn Dominion before they can react. And once this Ursa's by himself, he's just going to get kited and just killed without really finding any returns, because there's a decent amount of lockdown on the side of... Well, actually, that's not true. There's only 3 stuns. I'm not really going to count the Phoenix Soul. It's not that reliable, but with the Hex and the Earth Spike, this Ursa's in some trouble. That's by itself, this is offering 6 seconds of crowd control, and Shadow Fiend has to be careful, but he might just pop it. But the really fast blink timing on this Lion and instantly blow up that Shadow Fiend. Really good pick, and a lot of hate expended for him. Definitely necessary, because if he got that Shadow Blade off, I don't see any detection on the side of ST.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Darkseer just pressuring that tower. He does have his mechanism. I expect his next item will be a Blink Dagger, so he can get some really sick Blink back plays. A surged up Ursa, definitely scary, and here he is, and just instantly dead Skywrath Mage, and this Tusk is probably soon to follow. Or not. Oh, but the vacuum back, really well played, but Phoenix does pop a really strong ult, does pop his ult, killing up the Shadow Shaman, and slowly burning away at this Darkseer, but he's going to be able to, or is he going to be able to walk away? Dagger cooling down in a few seconds. Looks like this Phoenix wants a fight, and they might be able to burn down. The Spectre's here to clean up, but she's got to be careful around this Ursa, who can kill her extremely quickly. But it looks like with the Phoenix Laser and the Diffusal Blade damage, but Shadow Fiend shows up and does find at least one return kill, but 4 heroes still down on the side of Reborn Dominion, and they just can't afford to keep losing fights like this, because the Spectre's going to snowball out of control. So with a little bit of downtime, I think if you're Reborn Dominion, to get back in this game, you wait for the next Roche, and it should be respawning here soon. Yep, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and with that coming up soon, I think you're going to be able to take a fight. Your Ursa's just getting kited too heavily. You need to wait for the next Roche, and he needs his BKB. Shadow Fiend is terribly far behind, and I think a blink on Darkseer too, so you have more than one way to start the fight. Because that's another one of the real big problems, is they're relying on this Ursa to initiate fights, but he just gets kited after he blinks, and I think he really needs to get his BKB online, and they need to get the blink online, the Darkseer, and probably the next Roshan before they can take these next fights. And once they do that, they won't get kited as badly, and BKBs make Skywrath Mage and Phoenix really, really sad. They lose a lot of the damage on the side of ST is gone, because a huge chunk of it is magical. Sure, the Phoenix Stem will go through, but you can probably kill the egg while you're BKB'd. So definitely gonna need to be looking for their BKBs before they start trying to find these fights. And this Ursa's Atosed up, but the shield will purge off that. With Walrus Punch coming out, this Ursa's just dead, and you just can't keep getting picked like this. And I think they're getting greedy, but will they be able to TP out? No, the Earth Spike comes out, canceling the TP, and Reborn Dominion seem to be crumbling under the pressure slightly. This Ursa's very overconfident in his abilities, and they even had vision there, but he still went, and Roshan's not quite up, but will be up very soon. But are ST going to barely miss it? Because if they take that Roche, I think it's going to be very hard for Reborn Dominion to get back into these fights.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
So ST looking to be in a good position, but again, once BKBs come out, they're a team very reliant on their magic damage, and Darkseer splitting up the map, and it could be seriously bad, because unlike Lina, Lion won't be able to finger death you through your BKB. So once BKBs come out, Lion's not going to do anything, Skywrath is going to do less than nothing, and your Phoenix is also going to lose a huge amount of his damage, all of his damage. So I think that's what you need to wait for if you're Reborn Dominion. I know, seeing a Lion wandering around looks tasty, but getting that BKB online is the most important thing right now if you're Reborn Dominion. This Ursa has fallen behind. Spectre is now at the top of the net worth chart, and that's something to be really afraid of. She has 3,000 gold, and I imagine she's going for a Radiance, and it's later, but it's not terribly late, and that plus the Diffusal Blade could be devastating. So Reborn Dominion are definitely about to miss their window. Shadow Fiend finds a bounty rune, hits level 16 off of it, I assume. Phoenix probably going for a Shiva's Guard, possibly a Sheep Stick, but Shiva's Guard very good on this hero, more AoE damage, and the attack speed still helps the egg a lot. Olive Garden has a smoke and a Vlad's done. He's going for the Ags, which is a huge way to absorb damage from his team, so if I was ST, I'd be trying to press my advantage as best as I can. Huge vac wall, and immediately Ursa jumps in, and this Lion barely alive, but blows up from the shield pop, and this could be the fight that Reborn are looking for, but will they be able to stop this egg before it pops? It just barely so close, and that's devastating if you're, that's so disappointing, and it could be even worse, but they're finding a couple return kills, and, but ST still getting the short end of the stick on this, and the Spectre immediately blowing up in that, but definitely the fight Reborn Dominion were looking for. They lost their Ursa, but I think ST jumped the gun a little bit and lacked some focus in that fight. The Phoenix ult looked really good and actually did cost the Ursa his life, but losing all 5 of your heroes for just an Ursa and a Darkseer is terrible, and props to Slayer, sorry, don't quite know all their names yet, for getting an amazing back wall off that definitely helped win his team that fight. And Lion, I actually think he's pretty happy with that. A really good pick, taking down that Shadow Fiend. 873 gold for the Lion. He's got to be happy with that. That puts him close to another item, and I would think Force Staff, maybe Medallion if they want to start taking Roshan, but I would rather see the Medallion on the Tusk, and this Cocoa Puffs going back for the Roshan, and they need this. They got a bit of their momentum back after that last fight, especially the Shadow Fiend. But they still need to be careful. They're still up against a Spectre, who could definitely come back and just kill your team with just her illusions. He has no slots. He drops his TP and picks up the Aegis, so good thing he didn't leave that there. On the other hand, maybe Reborn Dominion don't have this window, because this Abaddon, once he gets his Ags, will be eating a lot of that AoE damage and a lot of that just damage overall from ST, and could cost them fights just from lack of damage. Yeah, Spectre is going for Radiance. She's not terribly far off. We'll probably have it in about 2 minutes. That death mid certainly cost her a bit. I think this Ghost Scepter is a really smart pickup. Be able to ignore this Ursa for just a little bit, keep him from beating you to death slowly, not even slowly, very quickly. So let me check out the itemization of these heroes. BKB finish, and Spectre with the help of Tusk getting a pick off on the Darkseer at top, and that brings her that much closer to a Radiance. And that does give Tusk some valuable levels. He's been level 11 for a while, I think, but the maxed out Snowball or maxed out Frozen Sigil, they're definitely things that are extremely beneficial. There is a Sentry here, but Shadow Fiend not really planning on going in there. With that 10-second BKB, he's going to be a pain to bring down in these fights. Spectre's right clicks are good, but not that good. Yeah, the BKB also finished on the Ursa, so there's really no way for ST to fight here, and Requiem just instantly killing one, and double kill for him, and McNuggets just getting shackled up. But will it be enough? The ult pop from the Phoenix, and the Ursa may be able to get this, but no. So the important thing is, it's still a really big fight for Reborn Dominion. And yeah, as you can see, their gold advantage just going up and up and up. But yeah, they got a 1.5k gold swing there, almost 2k. Spectre has finished Radiance, but it might be too late. She's still a very squishy hero with only 1300 health, and Ursa's going to tear her apart, and thanks to the presence of the Dark Lord, and that was a really good vac, but fortunately no follow-up, but Ursa just fearlessly jumping into the base, and with Surge, there's really no saving her. Reborn Dominion have a lot of momentum right now, and Aegis still in the Ursa, but their BKBs are cooling down, and this is the time, I think, if you're ST, to be able to defend. With the BKBs down, no Requiem, and Rage will be cooling down pretty soon, but you do have your finger up, you don't have Supernova, but you do have all that magic damage that you're able to, that is completely nullified during the BKBs, but I think when BKBs aren't up, that Reborn Dominion are slightly weaker in fights, unless Darkseer pulls off a really good back wall. I think the Darkseer getting off good back wall and the Shaman getting off good wards determines how Reborn Dominion are going to do in these fights until they get unless their BKBs are up. Because when the BKBs are up, there's no stopping this Ursa. There are no stuns that go through BKB except Walrus Punch.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And I don't think Snowball stuns through BKB.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Shaman not going to drop his wards, and this tower could be denied, but there's still that catapult beating on it, and they do deny the bot tower.
Dire's bottom tower has been denied.
So things slowly slipping away from ST, and you gotta be worried if you're them, because your Spectre isn't as ahead as you would like, and in fact she's behind the Shadow Fiend, and if we look at the gold per minute, definitely you want your Spectre to at least be at 500. She should be farming a lot better than this. And she sells her Voidstone, and I'm curious to see what she's gonna build next, and she might actually be going back for Vanguard, and I think that's a pretty big mistake. I think she could have used the Vanguard earlier in the game and maybe got the Radiance before the Diffusal, but the Vanguard would have allowed her to fight more and farm the jungle for longer. Yeah, she does go back for the Vanguard, which the reason I like Vanguard and Spectre is how it goes with Dispersion. It blocks damage and it reduces the damage you take pretty significantly, but Dispersion now reflects damage before reductions and before blocks and all that, so she can be reflecting quite a bit of damage back at her enemies. And here's Ursa. He has BKB ready, but will he get blown up before he's able to use it? No, he just quickly eats that Tusk, and now Reborn Dominion are looking to find more. Ursa's surged up, but slowed through that. Good vacuum. Supernova comes out. BKB's popped from the Shadow Fiend. Requiem hitting on several, but the finger not quite hitting the mark. Ursa's Aegis goes down. The Abaddon ult has ended, so Phoenix must have burned out that Darkseer in the end. So, decent trade. I think ST are okay with that. They took the Aegis down, but now they know they have to get back, and BKB slowly timing out. Shadow Shaman, however, inching closer and closer, and I think actually may have just enough gold to buy his Eye of Scotty. Now they're going to have a really difficult time killing these heroes as their right clicks just are so poor. The only good right-click hero on their team is Spectre, because this is a support Tusk. He's not going to get much more than this Drums. So, with the Ags complete, just Abaddon will be soaking up massive amounts of damage for his team, and Ursa could be going for a Basher. I also really like the Scythe build, and I think that's pretty good here. You, instead of getting an Abyssal, you grab a Scythe, you Scythe up, say, like the Skywrath or the Spectre before they can try to run away and blow them up, or Scythe up like the Lion while you kill the Spectre or while you kill the Skywrath. Things that will allow you to just, because Ursa doesn't really need damage, she just needs lockdown. I don't really think anything's going to come from this. There's no one there to follow up. It's just Abba and Shadow Shaman, and the two together aren't going to be able to do that much. Like ST finding that ward. That's definitely good. They need to secure their side of the map, make sure that they don't lose these. By taking the vision of Reborn Dominion away, they prevent Reborn Dominion from getting easy smoke picks. And ST need to really stop the bleeding. They have to stabilize somehow. They have to be like, alright, Spectre, we're gonna get you 6 slotted with like a Butterfly and a Manta, and just make this Spectre too big to fail, but it might be too late. Shadow Fiend is pretty ahead of her, 2k, and Ursa's not that far behind, and she can't 1v1 either of these heroes. So it might be too late for ST. I think a lot of it comes down to next Roche. I think you have to prevent Ursa from getting this next Roshan, because if he gets the next Roshan, there's almost nothing stopping Reborn Dominion from running up your high ground, and Ursa does opt for the higher damage Basher build, and definitely going to be building this into an Abyssal Blade. They're going in on the Abaddon, but this may have been a mistake, and quickly blowing up that Tusk, and Shadow Fiend just following up and instantly eating their lion, and now STR on the run, but it might be too late. A good vac, but he does have swoop, but Feo gets hexed trying to use it, and I think swooped the wrong way anyways, and just, this could be bad. There's only buyback on the lion. Roshan just respawned, but neither team will be going for it right away, I don't think. This could be a lane of racks. They don't have their Phoenix. And with wards on the ground, I don't see how they're going to be able to defend. Spectre can't drop her ult to try to scare them off. And Skyrath isn't very good at defending high ground. I actually think that fight probably cost ST the game, and it's not just that fight, but the fact that they couldn't get their Spectre more fed, they couldn't find... The Spectre is just not big enough, and the rest of this team is mid-game oriented. The rest of this team is like, alright, we're going to be really good in the mid-game, and I actually think this is going to be GG. Yeah, they don't have very good wave clear. I mean, sure, you've got Radiance on Spectre, but your Phoenix won't be able to do this on his own. BKBs are cooled down, and Ursa has Enrage. With Curse of Avernus on the tower, they even push faster. Oh, what a really good Hex, and another death without Phoenix getting off his ultimate. And this looks like it's gotta be game. And it's unfortunate. I think ST did put up a good fight, but a couple crucial mistakes and poorly taken team fights definitely cost them the game. I think Skyrath, they should have put more in the mid lane. I think they should have devoted a lot more time to mid lane and killed this Shadow Fiend a lot more, because with the Skyrath mage being a full half a level ahead and a full bottle ahead of the Shadow Fiend at the start of this game, they definitely could have afforded to pressure and really, really punished him and pushed their advantage to the fullest, and they just failed to do that. And Reborn Dominion just hitting their timings, this Ursa playing very, very well, and Shadow Fiend recovering very well despite how far behind he was at the start of this game. And even though that fight went in their favor, it went in ST's favor at the start of the game, Reborn Dominion didn't let it shake them. They stayed very poised and managed to take this game in a fairly convincing fashion, I would say, despite how close the kills appeared. So, looking forward to Game 2, and I hope you guys are as well. And I hope you join me. And if you have any feedback, please send me a private message, and let's get ready for Game 2.